Raw on Netflix. Raw is Netflix. The beginning, the next era of professional wrestling starts now. Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa for the Ula Fala in tribal combat. And the biggest match they could to open up Raw on Netflix, the first match of the Netflix era, and it's the Roman Empire versus the Solo Sikoa dynasty, or Kaiser Sikoa, as some people who have been, as he was at one point was given that name by trademark officials, but apparently that was for Jacob Fatu until they was like, let's just keep Jacob Fatu. And honestly, I would have loved if they called him Solo Kaiser Sikoa. That would have been awesome. Kaiser versus the Roman Empire versus the guy who would herald its destruction with the title Kaiser. Yeah. Too bad that's going to go to Jacob Fatu, no doubt, in the future. But, yeah. And this honestly is both kind of a personal deal to me, and I'm pretty sure it's a personal deal to Roman when you think about it for more than a few minutes, but I'll get to that. Solo has been at this war for power and control of the Bloodline since WrestleMania. After WrestleMania, before WrestleMania even, he was decreed the tribal heir. He would inherit the throne of Roman Reigns after he was done. Then Roman lost at WrestleMania, and Solo decided, nah, we should take it now. And he did take it. He took out Jimmy Uso, his older brother. He took out the Wasp Man after abusing him for multiple months. Okay. And he subsequently recruited a new or deadlier bloodline, this time consisting of the Tonga brothers and Jacob Fatu, who everyone wants to see be the new tribal chief at this point. And have been clamoring for his ascension over Solo. So Solo is basically having to fight a war on three different fronts. He has to fight Roman, he has to fight The Rock essentially, because The Rock is the final boss and the high chief, and he has to fight the rising popularity of his most loyal officer. So that's gonna be a thing, probably. But this match is now what could be considered a quote culmination of this phase of the bloodline, because Roman Reigns did say in an interview they still got like 3 more years probably planned out for this. Please cry if you despair about this if it goes poorly. And it has already surpassed the NWO lifespan, which is saying a lot. Like NWO started in '96 and ended all the way in 2000, and then briefly came back in 2002. The bloodline has lasted from 2020 to now, 5 years. So the NWO lasted 4, and this one lasted 5. So the bloodline can say they outlasted WCW's NWO saga. I probably made more money along the way, and I'm pretty sure Bischoff secretly is like, no, my creations. And I'm pretty sure Vince is secretly looking at this behind the scenes, going behind his mansion of power, or what's left of it. Hopefully it's in ruins. That after this lawsuit and everything's done, is probably secretly glad that he created something in his eyes that outlasted his most hated adversaries' creation. Which isn't really his creation, it was Japan's creation. He just stole it and redesigned it for a modern audience of the 90s. And people say Hollywood is the one that steals ideas. Anyways, Tribal Combat on Netflix happened, and it's currently on the air at the time of this recording. It will probably be uploaded after the show. And I have one more match I want to talk about, which I'm pretty sure you can take a guess what the other match is just by the video card here. But Roman Reigns gets the standing ovation as Solo gets booed and hated. And when they finally lock horns, oh god, it's just barbaric as best as you can in the restrictions that WWE places. Because here's the thing, here's the thing that I was hoping for, because WWE started doing this a little bit more of in last year, where they were like, okay, we're not going to use blood all the time, or we're not going to turn everyone into a Jon Moxley archetype where they just bleed out of nowhere, which was the most frequent thing we had in 2022. That was a thing. And even Punk acknowledged, like, dude, you're just gonna bleed every time. If I tap you on the forehead, you'll burst into red. Which will probably happen at one point with Jon Moxley, when he has destroyed himself to such a physical degree. But that's going to be in the future, probably. Hopefully not. But it wasn't disappointing with this match. It was not the full-on barbarism I was hoping for Tribal Combat, because it was like, because WWE started implementing this rule where they'll only allow blood to happen in special matches, like the CM Punk Drew McIntyre match. And originally it was supposed to be just Punk bleeding, but then Drew started bleeding in the match due to CM Punk recklessly hitting him with a toolbox kit. And that really added fuel to the fire for the fans and their ravenous craze for violence. Yeah. But honestly, I feel like they should have brought that back for this match. This is something I was kind of disappointed by, and I wish that they allowed to do for this match. Like, I know it probably would have been like mixed signals from fans where Triple H would say, we don't want to start the era off with things of our past that we don't like, but we're going to open the show with a introduction of our past and not really show it much with the violent stuff, but just iconic stars. But we're going to have The Rock come out and curse, because it's The Rock, and therefore he's allowed that. So that makes it okay. But if they had added blood, it would have had an enhancement to this fight, and I feel like it should have. Solo also decided to mirror his cousin Roman Reigns with the shouting of, I'm doing this for you, I love you, and all that. And it's like, I get what they're going for. They're trying to make Solo Sikoa think he can be the new Roman Reigns. It's just that it bugs me on a fundamental level, not because it's like this kind of happens in WWE a lot whenever a top star is gone, or they leave, or they walk, or they retire, and then WWE just looks at them and be like, we could just make another one, we could clone one, right? Which is disturbingly common for some reason in WWE. I think the last time it happened was when Monet walked out, and WWE was like, we'll just clone another one. And it was like, there is 100 different things wrong with what you just said, Vince. But Triple H is running the show now, so luckily that practice hopefully is dead. Though, of course, there were people that think that Cora Jade is the next Sasha Banks, so that's a disaster waiting to happen with that kind of pressure. And then people were going ahead making Tiffany Stratton be perceived as the new Charlotte, which is also just as much of a disastrous idea, instead of just having them be Cora Jade and Tiffany Stratton. Because of course. Anyways, but the Bloodline match, the Tribal Combat, was the last time we had that was the Roman Reigns and Jey Uso match, which ended in destructive fashion, mostly with Jimmy pulling the most jumping of the shark moment of the entire Bloodline saga, which, considering this is the period where people were really wishing Roman dropped the belt at WrestleMania 39, that's saying a lot when you need to jump the shark over the other jumping of the shark. And yeah, people, and I'm just gonna be blunt, they really should have done that at WrestleMania 39. Like, there has just been no justification from my viewpoint of how long it took for them to have Roman lose the title. I know they wanted him to make a record moment, but like, I would have been cool with him dropping at 39. I get 49 has a significant impact because it's the 40th WrestleMania. The Rock came back and they made this like the end game version of it, but I would have been cool if it ended at 39. That's just me though. and a lot of people at the time felt that. I don't know how many of them feel about it now, but it's like they were trying to, like, reportedly they were trying to justify it by saying, oh, we still want to do storylines with Jimmy and Jay and Solo. It's like, did you really need the title with it around your waist to continue that, where you could just not? Yeah, so take it for that for what you will. And then during the match, the hilarity ensues, and of course, even though it's tribal rules, there's also, we gotta get as many people involved in this. So the first one is Tama Tonga, I believe. I could be wrong which one it was. I think it was Tama Tonga. And then Jacob Fatu, and fans popped for Jacob Fatu because he's freaking awesome and moves in a way that should not be possible for a guy his size. And yet we live in a world where Brody Lee did that, and may he rest in peace. Oh, it always fascinates me to see these big wrestling guys, these huge guys who would do heavyweight moves, just suddenly doing cruiserweight or lightweight style wrestling moves out of nowhere. Like, imagine if they did that. Like, I think even Big Show said he could do a moonsault back in the day, but then Hulk Hogan told him to not do that because Hogan doesn't want the spotlight off of him, because everything must be on me. I am the main character of the story, which, looking back, probably should not have been a good idea, because yeah, it would have been cool in taking the spotlight off of Hogan for like a half a year. It would have fallen back on Hogan the moment he turned heel and became Hollywood Hogan. But, you know, screw us, right? Screw Paul White, huh? The Giant. Those were the days. And this is also a sad day because Royal Rumble next year is heading to Saudi Arabia, aka Blood Money. So, as we all know, that means there's a high probability that the UK wrestling fans are never going to get their WrestleMania first before the Saudi Arabian country and the authoritarian government. Yay. Then the same day today, they also announced that WWE was partnering with Real American Beer, which is created by Hulk Hogan. Double yay. Also, Logan Paul's back, and he joined Raw. Yay. How are we getting all these bad people involved? Like, we got rid of Vince, can't we just get rid of all these people and that nation? Yeah. But yeah, there's been a lot to talk about, and John Cena's begun his farewell tour this year, so that's depressing to think about. Like, I have mixed views on that whatsoever. But Roman Reigns, I keep going off tangent with this. I am so screwed. But Roman Reigns and Solo's match got bombarded with interferences. We had Tama, we had Jacob Fatu, we had Sami Zayn and Jimmy Uso, no sign of Jey Uso or Tonga Loa. And then, out of nowhere, but understandably because he is the master of continuity in WWE, Kevin Owens returns to beat the crap out of Roman Reigns in his revenge against the Bloodline for all those years of torment and what he did. And Cody Rhodes comes out to save Roman from Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens almost dropped Roman with the pile driver, which I would have loved to have seen, because it was like, oh god, the spike pile driver. Oh god, the package pile driver. That's such a famous move of his he couldn't do in WWE because of the policy with pile drivers. I'm so glad they're bringing it back. Yeah, but then Cody comes out, saves the day. Thus, he has already defeated Cena in the I have a feud with this guy and he's attacking someone else, so I'm going to go out there and kick some ass. He's already won that fight with Cena. Yeah. And then I thought for certain when the match was nearing the end, I really thought that they were going to go out and have Drew McIntyre Claymore kick Roman, because Drew is back to feuding with the Bloodline and is on a revenge tour, more or less, which would have been awesome, but they didn't do that. And then more hilarities ensue with Jey Uso coming to save the day or something like that. I don't know where they are. I have not been catching up on news besides what happened today with the Royal Rumble of 2026 and the WWE new sponsorship deal. Oh, and Fortnite's also sponsoring them, so that canvas ring, it has been filled with sponsored logos like it's the UFC, and that just annoys me to no end. It just kind of distracts me because I've been so used to the ring being blank or having the show logo on it, and it just bugs me to no end. But that's just my take on that. But there is something special about this match. Not just this match, the whole thing about this year. This, Roman Reigns defeats Solo Sikoa, reclaims the Ula Fala that his father and great uncle or grandfather gave him. No, great uncle gave him. And The Rock comes out to present the Ula Fala to Roman to acknowledge him as the tribal chief, while Paul Heyman oddly smooches the Ula Fala before handing it to The Rock, and The Rock and Roman do their cousin family bonding. I thought for sure that was going to lead to a rock bottom because they do want to do Rock versus Roman versus Cody Rhodes potentially at WrestleMania. But Triple H also said the main events are already planned out. And there's rumors now that there might be CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. We'll see, especially after tonight with the Seth Rollins feud seemingly going to be halted for now. But after tonight, maybe, I don't know, we still have like 2 more months before WrestleMania, and there's still the Rumble and whatnot. But there's another reason why this match, I think, is more important for Roman besides getting the last thing his father gave him on WWE television. Think about what year it is. It's 2025. And ignoring the specific date today for various reasons, because every time when I remember it, I have to think to myself, goddamn, thank you, Eugene Goodman. I have to say this. Think about what happened 10 years ago in January for Roman Reigns. This is the 10th anniversary of the disastrous Royal Rumble 2015 event, where before Roman Reigns was the cool, awesome heel to being the most virtually universally despised face in wrestling. And now it's 10 years later, he has now recreated that moment with The Rock endorsing him again. And this time they're not booing him. They're cheering for him. And it seems like Roman does want to cry because this feels like this is a full circle moment. They finally did it. They finally fulfilled the long prophecy that was started out back in 2014. And the psychological journey started back in 2015. Roman Reigns is now adored by the universe of WWE. And look, I've said this. I've had my criticism of how they've handled Roman Reigns, but I never vitriolically gone out, hated him, booed him, trashed him, said you still suck. I was in Roman Reigns' corner from day one when he was getting this big push. I certainly felt like he should have been. I felt like there should have been some restraint with WWE's handling of him, but like, I was in the trenches with Roman and saying, damn it, you're going to prove them all wrong, man. You're going to prove them all wrong. You're going to show the world how great you truly are. Sure, it's going to take some time, and there's going to be a lot of challenges and tribulations, but damn it, you're going to prove everyone wrong, and God knows 10 years from now, you'll be the most beloved character in WWE. I won't say all of wrestling. That's going to be a horrible, and that's going to be a long debate. But you'll prove them wrong, and the prophecy has been fulfilled. So as such, I will go ahead and ask for my 15 grand. Nah, that's too small. This is WWE. They're a $1 billion company. I'll just ask for $15 million in the You're Welcome check. I kid. For now. Anyways, so Roman Reigns got his Ula Fala back. The Bloodline looks to be somewhat stalled for now. Solo Sikoa might have plans of his own. He might not refuse to acknowledge him in the end and backstab him, or he'll acknowledge him, but he'll just go out of his way to tear down everything Roman loved and start a full-on crusade, even if the other Bloodline members don't follow of his group, or they'll just have the Bloodline be like a quiet simmering moment for now, while they set the groundwork for other ideas for the storyline. I'm rooting for Jacob Fatu to become Darth Bane. And yeah, this was a crazy start for Monday Night Raw on Netflix. We'll see how the rest of the night goes at the time of this video's production, but I will talk about CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. We'll see what happens next. I'll see y'all again next time. This is your host, Eric Brown of NRE. This is NRE Wrestleverse. This is NRE 10. My God. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out our content in the description below. Stay tuned for more. I'll see y'all again next time. Take care, and I acknowledge you, big dog.